Good evening, everybody. Hello, can you all hear me? Marion?
Yes, hello, Marina.
Hi. Just give me a couple of minutes. I'm going to add some folks
Okay.
here.
Do you want the video on, Marina, or how do we want to roll?
Um, I'm trying to get my own video on, but as you can see, it shows me as a black screen.
Let me try.
Um, oh, there it is. And I played around so much with it that um, I am.
You're upside down and blurred. There we are.
Yeah. I don't know how to un upside down myself.
Hold on.
Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can. I'm promoting some folks as panelists, so give me 1 second. Anyone else from our group? Um, Let me see if I see Jack Calabro. I see Steve. I'll promote him to a panelist. I promoted you. Yeah, there you go. Um, if there's one person with their raised hands. Um, Brian. I don't think Brian is in the group, is he? Nope. Anyone else that needs to be promoted to a panelist? All right, so let me just double check that we have a quorum before we start. I believe we do. I am waiting for Liz, Elizabeth.
I'm here.
Oh, I do see you now. Thank you. For those of you that don't know, Liz Manning is our new planning director. She started her role earlier this month and will be now joining the Traffic Commission as a sitting member on the commission. So welcome, Liz.
Thank you,
And
Marina.
we also have Justin Curis. For those of you that don't know him, he's a consultant, traffic engineer, and an expert that the board has asked to join us at the meetings. We have Chief from the police department, Sergeant Ernst from the police department, resident member Marion Driscoll, as well as Steve Geister. I believe that the members that are currently missing are Mr. Jack Calabro from the DPW, our wire inspector, as well as Fire Department Chief Madden. So thank you all members of the public and members of this commission. With that all being said, I'll call this meeting to order at 6:40 a.m. Today's Wednesday, October 29. This is the Traffic Commission meeting. I apologize. I'm going to not have the video because I don't think you guys want to see me upside down. So I apologize. And what was happening is I was trying to fix the viewer prior to me entering the room. So we will get right to the agenda. I see two folks with their hands up. But we will leave comments to the end. Is that right, folks? And there will be a point for folks to comment towards the end. And there will be also, we will open for discussions after each agenda item is noted. So with that, we will start with the Randolph Avenue Road Diet Pilot Program and the request for monitoring on the Spafford, Buckingham, Martin, and Clifton Road. This was brought up to us by a resident. I did see him, I believe it's Mr. Travis Gregory. I will have him allowed to talk. Mr. Gregory, would you like to make an introduction to this agenda item, or would you like me to share screen and kind of bring up everyone to speed? It's up to you.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Happy to have you do it, or I can give some context and background to why I brought this to your attention. It's totally up to you. I'm not sure of what the procedure is on one of these commissions. I haven't been to one before and just used to what goes on at the planning or the select board meetings.
Yes, no, if you want to start the discussion, and then I will try to bring up a map that can be shown in the background to help folks. Okay?
Great.
So go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So thank you all for having us today. Why I brought this up was we've seen some impacts that I thought would be quite helpful for everyone to understand as the Randolph Ave project has gone underway. If you don't know where Clifton Road is, we run parallel with Randolph Ave. And if you're coming from Cunningham Elementary down Pleasant Street, and if you cross over Randolph Ave, we're the first road on the left. There's 4 ladder streets there before the hospital. And so Clifton Road is the first one on the left. And I am been here for 13 years. And I want to say, I really applaud the state for what they have done or looking at in Randolph Ave. Being here for 13 years, the accidents that are happening there, the speeding that is like 60 to 70 miles an hour down the road. It was a really dangerous road. It was. And the stuff that has been happening and the things that they've done, I actually think are great. I drive up and down the road consistently. I work from home. So when I go in and out or drive to sports, I think the road is a lot safer. But the issue here with Clifton is now what we're seeing on the hours of between 4 and 7, I would say, since the day that it actually happened or within the first week, is a massive increase in volume from 4 to 7. And it seems like the issue is not everybody trying to avoid it coming up Reedsdale, going to Randolph, but the people trying to make a left from Pleasant onto Randolph, because it happens in waves. So we'll get waves of like 20 to 30 cars every 2 minutes. And if I'm allowed to share my screen, I could show you a picture of what this afternoon looked like, because we took a picture and I have never, in the 13 years that I've been here, I have never seen this volume of traffic on Clifton Road unless Randolph Ave was shut down for an accident, and they were avoiding the intersection. And so what happens is Clifton Road gets backlogged, like it's a traffic stop, and a lot of these cars are going up Clifton to make a left onto Highland, to go down Highland and back onto Randolph Ave, skipping the intersection. And the issue that we're having from the volume is there's a disregard for anyone living on the street. We up and down Clifton Road, and you can see it's a fairly short road. There's I counted 22 children from the ages of a couple just moved in next door with kids that go to Carriage House, so under 5 to high school. It's a wide range. So people are on the street, up and down, playing in their driveways, walking their dogs, doing whatever they can do, especially in the afternoon when kids come home from school. And the disregard is what's really happening with this volume. No one cares. No one cares. And what we've seen is that the traffic that is coming through is not necessarily going over 30 miles an hour, but it's the 20 to 25 miles an hour, the disregard, regardless of how fast they're going. They're not, if a child runs out into the street, or a dog breaks loose, or something happens at a very busy time, Monday through Friday, it's going to be a problem. It's a problem. And I don't know how to share my screen if that's been enabled, but I could show you what a picture looks like today, where there's a woman walking up the street, there's cars coming both ways, and I don't know what else to do. We went to the planning board and the select board. They said to go to we first called the police, and they had a traffic sign on our street that did a lot of speed testing, and obviously they kept on giving us feedback, which was fantastic, that the speeds weren't abnormal. Go to the planning board. Go to the planning board. They asked us to come to you guys. So that's how this all started. What we're really looking for is some sort of relief to allow Clifton Road to not be bombarded with traffic from 4 to 7. A lot of roads say you can't enter it on Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 or 7 to 8, or like I know you can't make a left onto Randolph Ave in front of Carriage House. I'm not really sure what that road is. You can't make what I would ask for to be considered is some type of traffic mitigation where you can't enter the road Monday through Friday from 4 to 7, right? Especially what concerns me is this traffic doesn't care. And we are a very populated road on Halloween, and that's a Friday. And that is one of the worst. Thursdays and Fridays are the 2 worst days that we get it. Today was really bad because of the rain, and I could show you what that would look like. But not only am I asking for something long-term solution, which is a do not enter sign, or can't make a left onto Highland sign at the top, whatever you guys deem is appropriate, and some sort of presence to watch the signage to make sure that no one breaks it. But then there's something I'm really concerned about Friday also. So it's good timing. I know you can't see my
Mr.
face, but that was my context.
Mr. Gregory, I don't think I can make you share your screen. If you'd like to send those pictures over, we can send it over to
Sure.
the conservation to the commission.
I'll send them to you,
after this
Marina. I have an
meeting.
email from
You
you.
know my email. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do want to say, Mr. Gregory, that yes, you brought this up to the planning board. The planning board brought it up to us, and I have emailed the state. We did invite them to this meeting. They're well aware of the concerns, and I did receive an email saying that they are monitoring. And they are monitoring the situation, and I have asked them for copies of information about the data that has been collected on those streets, the 4 roads.
Yep. I'm just not sure what
I'd
they're
like
monitoring because I don't see anything.
I'd like to open up for discussion. So if any members of the commission would like to speak first.
Marina, I'll just say a couple of things. I have a concern of, we're in a test phase on 28. So, I'd be hesitant to ever develop a solution when you're in a test phase. Part of the test phase is for them to evaluate the effects. So that's a concern. I always have a concern, and everybody probably knows this, on the time do not enters. This isn't Clifton. I agree with Mr. Gregory. Clifton's an issue, but it's not the only issue. We're getting the same things from a lot of town streets, Heather, Rock Lane, Forest, people going up Ridgewood, coming all the way over to Eager. I just don't think the solution is do not enter everyone out. We looked at Spafford a while back. We said no to Spafford. Spafford's in the same block. I feel like if you did one, you'd have to do all four. How would the residents get into their own house? There is no resident exception under the law for that. So I have a list of concerns that I certainly don't think the time is right, but that's just me personally.
Mr. Gregory, I did forget to ask you, I believe you needed to tell us your address, please.
Sure. 45 Clifton Road.
Thank you. Anyone else from the commission? We'll open up for the public. Is that okay for us to open up for discussion from the public on this topic? I see a hand up. Mrs. Amy Morrison. I'm going to allow you to speak. Go ahead.
Hi, are you able to hear me? Thank
Yep.
you so much. Thank you
Could you
all.
please state your address?
Sure. My name's Amy Morrison. I live at 58 Clifton Road. My husband Joe and I have lived here for 13 years. We have a 14-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son. Love living in Milton. Thank you all again, for your time this evening. I want to echo Travis's concerns. We have noticed a tremendous negative impact related to the road diet project. Clifton Road has been a cut through since we have lived here, and we have, tried to approach that in different ways over the years, have not had a lot of success. But in general, it's been a very safe street to raise our children. I feel that our safety and our children's safety is now at risk. I understand this is a pilot program and that there will be different points in time where feedback is collected. I just want to make sure that, that we're representing the concerns that are happening, just in this initial phase, and we'll continue to bring feedback to the appropriate channels as the project goes on. I want to thank the police, specifically Jordan Stainford. I've been talking with him weekly over the past month, and he's been very supportive. However, my understanding from speaking with him is that, the police can only enforce speed restrictions in the town, and a volume is not something that the police can help us with. So we emailed the road diet. I'm in touch with State Representative Wells' office as well. And the guidance has been, definitely to advocate for ourselves throughout the town, which we'll continue to do. I want to say that, as Travis stated, 3 to 7 p.m. is a nightmare on Clifton Road now. I do not feel safe having my children in front of the house. My son would play street hockey every afternoon when he gets home from school. I no longer allow him to do that because I don't think it's safe. About a week and a half ago, I was driving down Clifton Road. I pulled up in front of my own house, and someone cutting through stopped, pulled over next to me, rolled down their window, and, began shouting at me. My daughter was in the car. My son is playing in my driveway. I felt unsafe. This afternoon, I know Travis is going to submit a picture, but we have people just driving by us, beeping at us, stopping to swear at us. It's unsafe. You know, am I going to come out and find vandalism to my car? I'm concerned about that. You know, I just want to paint a picture for you of the impact that this is having as you continue to collect feedback during this project. We now have delivery trucks, grocery delivery trucks, alcohol, Bud Light trucks. These trucks are being routed, I'm assuming, by some GPS to cut through. And Clifton Road is not, it is not a street that is meant for, you know, delivery trucks to be passing through here. And there's traffic, you know, there's school buses and now delivery trucks trying to get up and down the street as well. I took a video last Friday, which I'm happy to also submit, for 20 minutes at 5 p.m. I counted more than 57 cars in less than 20 minutes. Just to give you, you know, we're talking about Halloween on a Friday. That's very, very concerning. And I didn't even make it to the end of the video. I should say that as I went back and counted. I'd also like to bring your attention while we're you know, just for forward thinking, to the apartment building that is going up in the DPW yard. Residents, trucks, fire trucks, whoever coming out of that building, if this pilot continues, will be directed south on Randolph Ave. The only way for them to turn around and head north is to turn up Reed Street, turn down Highland, and then they're going to come down Clifton Road, because this is the only way for them to get out of their apartment building and head north. I don't know how many units are slated there. I know that plan has changed. I've attended town meetings about that for years as well. I'm not sure the scope of that project or when that is slated to be completed. But, you know, again, forward thinking, are we concerned for the safety of the residents? Are these decisions being made in a vacuum? What, you know, is anyone looking at the big picture of these changes? And I wholeheartedly agree that Randolph Ave is an unsafe road. I would only drive in the right lane on that road. I would never drive in the left lane for fear of being hit head on during any hours of the day. I'm not an urban planner. I'm not a traffic expert. You know, I'm not proposing to know what the solutions are, but I think that we need to keep an open dialogue. And I'm certainly hoping for the town's collaboration as well as the state's to really look at the impacts that this is having on the neighborhoods. Because, you know, we have the opportunity now to look at this and prevent something bad from happening. You know, I'm hopeful that we could, you know, continue to examine this at these meetings or whatever meetings the town deems are appropriate. But I hope that our concerns will be heard, and I'm happy to, you know, speak with anyone about, you know, what are next steps to look at this as we continue along this pilot, which I believe is slated through the spring. So again, you know, Amy Morrison, 58 Clifton Road. Thank you again so much for your time this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. Thank you, Travis, Mr. Gregory. I am going to share Mr. Gregory's picture. It just came through on my email. I believe it's he stated it was a picture of a 3 to 7 period. Did you say it was tonight?
Yes, this is generally right around 4:30.
Okay. So
somewhere
I
between
do
4:30 and
have-
5. I don't know. I was inside with the kids, so I just ran out to take a picture.
I am going to, I see a hand up, Mr. Ryan Villard. Excuse my pronunciation. If I'm going to allow you to speak, if you could state your address, please. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Ryan Villard. I live at 688 Randolph Ave. I am currently looking out the window right now to unbelievable traffic still at right now at this time of night. My one concern that I have, for you guys today, amongst, I have a lot of concerns about this project going on, but my concern right now are these flex poles that are in front of my house. I work in Canton. I have to take a left out of my driveway. I cannot do that. When we were finally told about this via the Mass Dot flyer that was sent to the house right before the lines were painted, I was told the only way I can go to work is go down to the set of lights at the 7-Eleven and in the middle of probably one of the busiest intersections in the whole town and take a U-turn. Safely, I feel like that's impossible. On my return home from that area, if I was to come up Pleasant and take a left on Randolph Ave, I have to go down to Reed Street and the old dump road, and I have to take a U-turn, which is almost impossible in my small SUV. It is almost impossible, if not more impossible, in my wife and my mother-in-law's truck and larger SUV. So my one concern is, how did they pick right here in front of, between Pleasant Street and Reed Street? Why do we get the flex poles when the area between Ridgewood and up to Hilltop, where a lot of the deadly accidents happen, get a turning lane? If we could get the same turning lane, I could come to accept this. Getting in and out of my house to go to work is nearly impossible. If I was to come home now, it would take me about an hour just to get up the road. I was wondering if that could be something that could be, looked at. I know this project is, a long process in a project, but I was wondering if myself and my neighbors that I've spoken to directly, if we could also get that turning lane. But I'll mute and I will listen to what you guys have to say. Thank you for your time.
So I'll take that response. So as you all know, this is a Mass DOT project. The town has been working to provide input on that project. It is a pilot project. We have heard from other residents that have the same concern as you, Mr. Villar. With the attorney, we have been told that there are some crash records around that segment, and the segment I'm speaking of may not necessarily be in front of your property, but the segment that they speak of is Reedsdale and to the access road. I have been at a conversation with Mass DOT where Chief Kane, representatives of the select board, as well as town administrator, we all raised these concerns. And we have urged Mass DOT to continue to take a look at that and provide solutions. So it is a work in progress, and we will continue to, we'll be taking notes from this meeting and providing that as a continued feedback to Mass DOT as well. With that being said, the request, the question from Mrs. Morrison on the number of units, the development that is happening at 7-Eleven Randolph, and the fact that they could not turn left onto Randolph, that has also been raised to Mass DOT, as has many other issues that haven't even been noted herein. So. Anyone else from our commission that would like to speak? All right, so again, in these notes, providing that feedback to Mass DOT. And with that, I will move on to our second agenda item, which we have is the request for Reservation Road traffic counter. We did receive a memo from Time Bond. We have Mr. Justin Kuritz. And if it's okay with the commission, we will ask him to speak and summarize the memo that was presented to our commission and to the members of the public. So, Mr. Kuritz, would you be able to provide us information on that?
Sure, I just shared my screen. Can everyone see that? Okay. So as Maureen had mentioned, as part of the last Traffic Commission meeting, the town of Milton has asked Time Bond to conduct a traffic count out on Reservation Road. Again, this is conducted between Brook Road and Waldeck Road. Again, trying to really hone in on the Reservation Road traffic, and really find a spot in the area on that street that we can take a count that will give us a good free flow speed, as well as not having a stop and start from intersection. So this has taken about 32 Reservation Road, the address there. There was a 48-hour ATR, or automatic traffic counter, automatic traffic recorder count. That's the tubes that go across the roadway. And what that does is that gives us feedback on the volume that's out there, the speeds that are out there, and also the classifications in terms of what types of vehicles are traversing the street. So the first table here, you'll see table one. Oh, sorry, just to clarify, this was done for the 48-hour period, which is the typical industry standard time period. So that is a Tuesday, September 30th through Wednesday, October 1st. So midnight on Tuesday to midnight on essentially Thursday of that next day. So a full 48-hour period. As we see in table one, looking at the average daily traffic, so ADT, average daily traffic, meaning the entire traffic in one day, we see about 750 vehicles are traversing along Reservation Road. You'll see all the way, I'll just shoot to the right, that last column there, directional distribution. So that looks at what percentage of traffic is headed in each direction. So with Reservation Road being a northbound, southbound roadway, you'll see in the morning, the AM, so that 7 to 9 time frame, and the PM, the 4 to 6 p.m. Time frame. In that time, in those two peak periods, we're seeing approximately 90 to 95% of traffic headed in the northbound direction. So again, typically in corridors, typically on roadways that are not residential neighborhoods, you'll generally see a pairing of one heading northbound in the morning and then southbound in the afternoon, or vice versa. In this case, there really is a true directional distribution favoring the northbound direction. With that said, in the morning, we're seeing approximately 120 vehicles in that peak hour and 40 vehicles in the peak hour in the afternoon. So the K factor here, when we talk about percentage, that is the daily traffic utilizing the roadway in the peak period. So when you look at that, what that tells us in the morning, 16% of the total traffic along Reservation Road is using that roadway in the AM peak, and only 5.3% are using it in the afternoon. Looking into speeds, so table 2 here summarizes the speeds in the northbound and southbound direction. Again, as part of the statutory speed limit out here, there's not a special speed regulation that is filed with the state. Instead, it's based on the townwide 25 miles per hour thickly settled that was under Mass General Law, Chapter 90, subsection 17C. So that states that the roadway in these thickly settled areas deals with the statutory speed limit of 25 miles per hour. And as you'll see, we've collected 2 data points for northbound and southbound traffic. An average speed, which is exactly what it means, the average speed you're seeing on the roadway, and then the 85th percentile speed. And that's generally referred to as the operating speed on a roadway. So that's, if you think about it, the 85th percentile is 85% of traffic are traveling at or below that range. And so as we see here, the average speed, both northbound and southbound, is 25 and 24 respectively for miles per hour. And then as you get to the 85th percentile speed, or operating speed on the roadway, we're seeing that at northbound 29 miles per hour and southbound 28 miles per hour. So again, The townwide speed limit in that section is 25 miles per hour, and we're seeing that operating speed just above that at 3 to 4 miles per hour higher. And then lastly, when we talk about classification, this is one where we're looking at what percentage of truck traffic. That was one of the comments that came out of last meeting, the last traffic commission meeting, that there's heavy vehicles traveling down that, tractor trailers. And so looking at that full 48-hour period, there was really, in the southbound direction, as we see, there's not too much traffic in the southbound direction to begin with. But in that southbound direction, there was one truck counted in the entire full 48-hour period. So these are box trucks. These are your Amazon trucks, your semi trailers, and then massive semi tractor trailers. So one truck was counted there over the full 48-hour period southbound. The northbound traffic varied pretty significantly from day to day. So on the first day, that Tuesday, the entire 24-hour period saw an average of 1.4% truck traffic. So if we think about that, on a typical day, we're seeing 750 vehicles. So again, that equates to, 7.5 vehicles that we're seeing as trucks. In the second day, on that Wednesday, we saw that drop down to 0.4, so less than 1% of trucks, 1% of the traffic on that roadway northbound are trucks. And just to give you a total compared to what we talked about with one truck southbound for the entire 48 hours, we saw a total of 13 northbound trucks over the entire 48-hour traffic count. So relatively minor and low truck volumes for a roadway of this size. I mean, we can see typically up to 2 to 5% of trucks on a major collector, but where this is a residential street, there is limited truck traffic utilizing that. So with that being said, I would turn it to back to you, Marina, for any discussion or questions from the commission or from the public. Happy to answer them.
Yes. Thank you, Justin. I'll leave it open to the commission. If any members, would you like to speak? All right. Any members of any of the public residents that would like to speak on this issue? All right. Don't see anybody. So do you all, as for our commission, do you feel like we have enough information to make a vote on this? Okay. Great. So the question is if we move forward with next steps for traffic mitigation, or if this information is enough and we feel like the issue with the volume speed, it doesn't render traffic calming at this time. So
Marina, can I just clarify?
yes, please.
Just I'm brand new, so I'm just, and I apologize if I ask something that everybody else is aware of. So the request for the study was by folks in the neighborhood?
It was by residents on that street.
Okay. And they've been given an opportunity to review the data, and have they already had their say in the review of the report?
No, this report is being presented herein.
Okay. Just want to understand a little bit more clearly where we are in the process. Thank you. Appreciate that.
This report was presented to our commission when the agenda was posted, so it's been 48 hours for our commission. and the public is being provided that information now.
Very
Steve,
good.
you have your hands up?
Yeah, so we did have a number of citizens come in at the last meeting and voice their concerns about the amount of traffic, and particularly the truck traffic. And the action was we were going to study it. So I don't think we would be voting on anything tonight until we hear back from the citizens, right? I'm just trying to figure out the process.
I believe that, yeah, there is not necessarily, the question is, where do we go from here now that the data has been presented to us with the low percentage on traffic volume and the presented 85th percentile speed? We do have one person, Steph. I will allow you to speak. If you could please state your full name and address, please.
Yeah, hey all. So this is actually Mike Grandel at 40 Reservation Road. Hey everyone. It's
Mike, how do you spell your last name? Sorry.
yeah, Grandel, Grandel. So I was the one that presented last time on
Okay, Mike Randall. Got it.
So
PA
yeah,
reservation.
yeah. What I'd say too. So yes, thank you for the study. You know, the timing when the study took place, I think was interesting because it was right around the time with the Randolph Ave kind of changes, right? And what I'll say too, I this having seen this for the first time and candidly speaking on behalf of the neighbors without actually consulting them, which I'd like to do after. You know, what I will say is post Randolph Ave, contrary to what some of the other neighborhoods may have been seeing, there has been a reduction in especially truck volume too. As I feel like they are now getting routed more appropriately back onto the highway. However, what I will say is, you know, speeding and volume is still concerned. Like 750 cars is still quite measurable, right? I think for any residential road. So, you know, I think given the opportunity to review this, it would be great to kind of talk with neighbors and then come back and, you know, communicate with the board in the next meeting.
That sounds good. I can email you the PDF.
Great.
And then we'll hear back from you. Again, our goal is to meet a little bit more frequently than we have in the past. I believe this commission was meeting every 3 months, and now we're doing about every 6 weeks. So whatever time you guys need to review this documentation, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thanks all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Let me remove you from the group. Let me add that to our notes. Residents will review memo. And then you write back to us. You can email me, okay? Great. So I'll move on to item number 4. It is, we had residents from the Plymouth and Grafton streets request for traffic calming and for us to take a look at that. I will, Mr. Bill White, I believe you'll be speaking on behalf of the group. So I'll be allowing you to speak. If you can, again, please, I'm trying to take notes. You state your full name and address, please. Thank you very much.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
So my name is Bill White. I live on 73 Plymouth Ave here in East Milton. Lived here for 25 years. I think there's a number of other folks that about 20 of us came to the last meeting, and you were very kind to let us touch base with you, even though we weren't officially on the agenda. I know there's a bunch of others that are here tonight virtually. So I think, I don't know if everybody on the board has had a chance to see the communication between me and Liz and Chief King, but in a nutshell, we've had a longstanding cut-through problem because we're between Quincy and Milton, and every time the traffic starts backing up on the expressway, all these damn apps send everybody through. So starting at 6:30, it really becomes an issue. We got like others that you've heard tonight. We got a lot of kids in the neighborhood. And so we've been kind of fired up about this issue. We had obviously new natural gas installed. The work that was done, they kind of ripped up our island pretty good, which, people are pretty disappointed by the lack of fix there. And then they kind of repaved the road. It had to settle and all that. We got that. And so just last week they repaved it. We were asking for you guys to, as they repaved it, again, we were told that it was going to be fully repaved. It wasn't. We've got kind of a half strip. So it's rather ugly, but it is what it is. I think we've kind of retreated on that, but we've now got a kind of a smoother surface. You guys were kind enough to bring in an indicator, a speed indicator back in September, but now we've got like a different situation, which we predicted. We got a bit of a raceway coming from Quincy into Milton, heading kind of Plymouth Ave towards Edge Hill Road, heading north, much like, some of these other streets. So again, we're disappointed that we were hoping for, speed humps to be installed as the new pavement was taking place. But again, we know there's different contracts and all that nonsense. So right now, we're basically seeing, not only an increase in traffic, but an increase in speed now that we have new, a smoother pavement. So I think what we're been asking for is for you guys to do what you got to do, collect the data that you got to collect. But we're asking for the same mitigation that was done on Governor's Road. We're asking for speed humps to be installed. We believe that there's excellent evidence. Justin probably knows this better than anybody, but the Institute of Transportation Engineering has done a number of studies that are basically showing that speed humps can reduce speed by 20 to 25%. That would make a huge difference in our neighborhood from a safety perspective. I know, the fire chief has got some concerns there, but again, the ITE is looking at 3 to 5 second impact on a fire truck, which I think is rather minimal. We're not a major emergency route for fire to come through because, again, we're abutting Quincy. And I think if the fire trucks were heading there, they'd have it head a different direction. So again, we're rather, I appreciate all of you guys. This is, you're after hours here. Liz Manning, I don't know how they dragged you into the most difficult board in Milton, because you've obviously just beginning to hear about it. And I know we were all at town meeting last night, so working a lot of late nights. But I think we're interested in working with you collaboratively, but at the same time, we're kind of frustrated and fired up, like other neighborhoods. So again, we're concerned that you have collected data. There's been a lot of talk of data for the last several months. Many people were in front of you guys back in July talking about this issue. There's been talk about more data collection. There's been talk about, and analyzing it and sharing it, but we haven't really received anything. And I think the world has changed a little bit with the new clean surface, the new roadway, which I think kind of is changing the traffic. I don't really want to ask you guys to collect more data, but if that's what you have to do in order to make a decision, I mean, I think we can kind of bite our lip and be patient with that. But we've got a safety issue in our neighborhood, much like Clifton. We got about 20 to 25 kids that are moving, particularly at the same time that the traffic is really kind of barreling through. And we're happy to get you evidence. We're happy to get you a petition from just about, I think every single neighbor will support, a traffic speed humps. We think that's the solution. We've got other issues too, but I mean, that's what I think we're kind of focused on. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything to that, but that's our story. And we're hoping to work collaboratively with you guys in a difficult job that you all have. Can't hear you, Marina. I think you're on mute.
Thank you, Mr. White. I appreciate your comments. I see a couple of other hands up. I will go to Mr. Brian McGuire. iPhone 2, if you could change your iPhone 2 setting to a name, and then I'll allow you to speak, okay?
Okay. All set?
Yes,
No
Mr.
video.
McGuire, thank you.
No
Could you
sound.
please state your name and address? Thank you
Sure.
so much.
Brian McGuire, 94 Grafton Ave. I agree with everything Bill said. Thank you. I'll be quick. Thanks, Bill, for all that summary. I agree 100%. One thing I would add is I think it would be really helpful is a stop sign at the Quincy Milton line on Plymouth Ave, because people are basically, it's a cut through. In the morning, people are flying down it now with the smooth asphalt, and at least it'll slow people down. Just putting a stop sign up there, I think that's like a simple, quick measure that'll help.
On the Plymouth Ave connection, correct?
Plymouth Ave connection, where it goes from
Yep.
Quincy to Milton, a stop sign.
Got it.
Okay, that's it. Thanks.
And while you're still on the speak, could you speak us to terms of problems? Mr. White had mentioned a northbound problem. Are there any specific times?
On Plymouth Ave, what he said, I mean, we both walk our dogs, like 6:30 in the morning to probably like 8:30 in the morning when it's still somewhat dark and kids are going to school. People are just using it to bypass the highway. That's a big problem. And on Grafton Ave in the afternoon, it seems to be like people are cutting off Edge Hill Road and going on Grafton to get on the southbound highway. So it's like that edge where they cut down and then they take a left on State Street. That's a popular cut through because there's usually a line. And they might cut down either Plymouth or Grafton.
Plymouth, yeah.
Yeah.
Too.
Right. Do you understand? They're going down
I'm very
Edge Hill
familiar with
Road.
that area. Yes,
Okay.
very familiar.
Thanks.
I would. I am going to see if anybody from our commission would like to speak on this. And to answer one of the comments, I was hoping to find there was a study done as part of the Post Governor Road. There was data taken. We just reviewed that. I just reviewed that with Justin earlier prior to this meeting. It is slightly older data. It is from back in 2024. There are questions as to the red line use and status on those dates that the data was collected. And we do agree that things have changed slightly now that the Randolph Ave pilot program might be ongoing. So just as an FYI to the commission, if you're all looking to try and move forward with getting additional data similar to what we just saw Justin present on the reservation, it would probably be useful for us to ask Justin to do new counts in a similar manner that we just provided to those residents at reservation. It will be potentially additional locations. Reservation was only one count. I would have to go and scope out with Justin better locations for those counts. Just as an FYI for our own group. With that being said, do you guys have questions? Would you like to move forward with asking for that data, for that count? And also looking at the stop sign. Anyone from our commission? Marianne, I think you're muted.
I think we should move forward with the data collection.
Okay, thank you. Steve, I see you shaking your hand.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes.
I agree with that. I think we talked about that stop sign a while back, and I think decided not to do anything with it at the time because they were doing construction. So I know it was brought up maybe 6 months ago or so. And
Chief King?
I have no concern with the data. I agree with Marion, but the stop sign, I'm just concerned that, we don't historically put in stop signs just to slow people down. That's, I think that probably warrants for a stop sign.
We would have, I agree with you, Chief. We would have to look to see if it meets the warrants for a stop sign. Sergeant Ernst?
I feel the same as the chief on that, just making sure that the criteria is met for the stop sign, but I support the data collection, definitely.
All right.
Maureen, if
Thank
I
you all.
could just add one thing here. Just a common misconception is that stop signs will slow traffic. It's a way to slow traffic. Stop signs are not an approved method of traffic calming. So just to put them in, again, want to make sure that they're where they're supposed to be. But that should not be an option here, or should not be recommended as an option to look at slowing traffic or any sort of traffic calming measure.
It would be looked at for a safety perspective if it meets the warrants. Correct, Justin?
Yeah,
Not for a-
just to clarify, we're talking about an always stop or just a singular stop sign?
I think it's one.
I will show you which intersection it is. It's not really an intersection.
It's like a one-way flow, and you take a sharp right, and they want to put a stop sign there just to stop you from starting to speed up down the street.
Okay.
Nick.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, I think, and Marina, just something that we've talked about, I think would be helpful in looking and seeing the reservation road data, which I thought was helpful, but, it showed a volume issue, not necessarily a speed issue. If that is the case here again on Plymouth and Grafton, maybe a volume issue, but not necessarily a speed issue according to the speed limit. So I think taking some next steps to have, whether it's Justin and Ty and Bond, come in with like a list of treatments that we can consider that will help improve and increase safety, but not necessarily I don't think we should just be in a position of responding only if the data shows an average speed of 32 miles an hour, but rather having a list of potential treatments that we can do to help improve safety in any number of roads across the town. So that's just, I think, something the commission and the department and we could work towards together moving forward. And sorry for the voice in the back.
No, I couldn't hear a thing. Thank you. Thank you. I see Katie from the public. I will allow you to speak. If you could please state your address and your full name.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Katie Meehan. I live at 94 Plymouth Ave, and I was just going to add a little bit to that stop sign. I was kind of the one spearheading that for the several years prior, when Chase Berkeley was in charge. The initial request for that stop sign was, as we discussed with several people, when you come up the hill from Quincy, our road takes a jog to the right. The line of sight for driving is straight. And so we had a lot of trouble with cars going at a high rate of speed down the wrong way. So when we were talking about that stop sign, it's actually at the intersection of Alden and where Plymouth meet. And we were able to put do not enter signs to alert traffic that even though the road continues in a straight manner, that is not the way the flow of traffic was supposed to be. The request for the stop sign at that point was to have drivers stop and assess the change of the road flow. And that's what I believe we were talking about, that we had discussed that stop sign in previous. It's also a blind curve coming up Alden Road, taking a left. So now with the flat, we'll call it a raceway from, it starts just beyond the Quincy line. The cars coming up and they continue on that smooth, flat road, taking a left from Alden onto Plymouth. To put it politely, put your life in your hands. It is a blind corner left, and the rate of speed, and as Brian and Bill said, it's 6:30 to 8:30 in the morning. I'm standing on that corner because that is where our bus stop is. The workers who were working and doing the project here, I'm at 94, so I'm very close to where that road, that section of the road is. There were several times the workers almost got hit by cars coming on that corner. So what Brian had suggested, it's not just kind of an arbitrary stop sign. There's a lot more other things that kind of are encompassed. So I don't think that it's just a merely plopping a stop sign for a traffic measure. I think there's a lot of other factors. So I just wanted to add that kind of history there. And then my one other question was, I believe there was a speed radar, there was a, what, for lack of a better word, a trailer that was posted. Did that collect data, or was that just measuring people's speed and letting them know how fast? Because I know we were talking about data collection, and I know that that was placed there for a period of time. So I guess that was my question is, was there any data collected from that, or was that merely a signal to the drivers to let them know exactly how fast they were going down a residential street? So that was it. So thank you.
Thank you. Chief, was that from the police department?
I don't know that off the top of my head. I mean, I don't know what time period she was referring to.
Okay.
Maria, I could probably speak on that a little bit. I would also say with what Katie was saying, I couldn't agree more. Just being from the town and working on that project with Riley when they were over there, you saw that a lot, cars coming up from Plymouth, and it is very, very confusing. So I think Katie's point is a very strong one, and it should definitely be taken into consideration when we discuss the stop sign installation. The signboard we did put out, Officer St. Four was enforcing traffic down there. Put it out for about 2 weeks last month, and we did get some data back. I can share kind of an overview of what we got. It was, obviously the volume is an average volume per day of 490 cars. This is over the course of 2 weeks, remember. The average speed, we based that off of the 85th percentile. The average speed per day, or taken over that time period, was just about 24 miles an hour. The speed limit, posted speed limit, is 25 on that street. So the reports, they're pretty good. I could probably get them to you guys so you guys can see it. It's not in depth as the studies that the town does, but it does give us some good data back. But that's basically the gist of what the report provides us. So,
Okay, that's good to know.
yeah.
Lally,
Yes.
if you can please state your name and address. Thank you.
My name is Heidi Lally. I live at 101 Plymouth Ave.
Thank you.
I just want to echo what Katie Meehan has stated. I moved here in December of 09. So we have been very long-term residents here at 101 Plymouth. And the amount of traffic that is happening in the morning is quite concerning. I walk my dog early in the morning, and I often have to be very cautious when I'm crossing the street from just my front door over to Alden to allow my dog and I to kind of get into the roadway. But we are often having to wait for many, many cars to come through, and they are going at such a high speed, and it's a blinding corner. So it's a personal concern for me. And I also have grave concern for the bus stop, because those kids are standing there and these drivers are recklessly coming up the hill and not necessarily always seeing this do not enter sign, which is to the left of the island. And on many, many occasions, there are drivers that are going down the wrong way and then realize they're going down the wrong way and either stop and back up or continue to go down the wrong way and then take the right to go down state. So it's just a real transition I'm seeing being a resident here with the traffic flow. And now that the pavement has been paved and to allow for kind of not only a higher volume, but higher speed, I'm really concerned about the welfare of our kids.
Thank you, Ms. Lally. Mr. Stephen Camerano, can you please state your address?
Good evening, Steve Camerano, 70 Plymouth Ave, Milton, Mass. So on more than one occasion at the bus stop, I've had to stand in the middle of the road to stop traffic, to let children cross the street. So, I mean, it's literally a hazard, a traffic hazard at this point, every single morning on Plymouth, State Street, in Grafton. Everyone's already raised the concern. I've already stated the pavements have been redone. And yes, that just makes the traffic move faster. But we've had almost physical confrontations with drivers, like out of the car. I mean, it's people in a rush on the expressway. We know how it works, right? We've all lived here just about the majority of our lives. So speed bumps, I would say, at a minimum. Stop signs are a great idea. The one at the top of Plymouth coming out of Quincy. I mean, I would even suggest Plymouth and State Street, northbound, stop sign there. Just that's all I have to say. Just a couple of good examples of literally hazardous driving every single day on Plymouth Ave in the morning between 6:30 and 8 o'clock for sure.
Thank you, Mr. Camerano. Mr. Jay Farley, you are muted, but you are ready to speak. If you can please state your address. Hello, we cannot hear you, unfortunately. I'll come back to you. Mr. Bill White, if you can please brief, you've already spoken. So we'll just, thank you, ready to speak though.
I'll be brief. Officer Ernst, thanks for those comments and the 2-week trial that you did. My only concern there is that it was hard to speed in the condition that road was in before it was repaved. But I was there watching it. So you said average speed 24. We'd love to see that data and what the 85th percentile looked like and all that. But I guess our point is, again, the data is obsolete, a new smooth road. And I believe you would see, not only higher volumes, but I think you'd see increased speed if you redid the data now that the road has been repaved. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marina, if I may briefly, Mr. White or Mr. Camerino or Katie, if you guys are still here, I just curious, what time does the bus pick up in the morning? What time's the pickup time? You may have said, I'm sorry if you did, but can one of you guys provide that if you guys are still there? Katie?
Katie knows probably. Hold on.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Katie. Hi.
Yeah, so the middle school, high school bus stop picks up around 6:45, 6:50, but that is out at Edge Hill. The main one we're talking about is the elementary Collycott Cunningham bus, which the bus stop, there are two bus stops. There's a pickup at Alden and Plymouth, and that is roughly at 7:40 in the morning. And then the second stop is at State and Grafton, a few minutes after that. So we'll say that's about, 7:42, 7:43.
Okay.
So that's kind of at the height of that rush hour. And as we said, they both kind of get, there's drivers who are forced to stop for the bus stop and the anger that goes along with it, or the driving around, some of them cut off the bus. So it gets pretty hairy, but I would say it's 7:40 is 7:40 to 7:45 is when the bus comes through to pick up those elementary children. And as we said, rough ballpark, we're talking about at least 25 kids getting on the bus within those two stops.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll try to help out where we can on the police department side and get some officers down there to monitor traffic, especially during pickup time. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. So what I am looking at here is I will work with Justin to put together a scope and get a traffic count that will better reflect the conditions today. And similar to the reservation, we will present that hopefully at our next meeting. It will depend on how Justin, how we can go with authorizing that work and etc. So with that being said, I'll move on to our next meeting item, agenda item 5. It's a request for valet parking on Franklin and Adam intersection. I will share my screen. Let me just pull up where that request is coming from. Let me see if we have anybody who is speaking on behalf of this agenda item. Please raise your hand. All right, I don't see anyone. I'll share my screen. So members of this commission, hopefully you can see my, as you know, a few months ago, we voted on turning Franklin Street a one-way due to the construction and the taking of one lane for the project, the construction project for Franklin. That has taken out some parking that folks from some of these restaurants, namely Abbey Park, as well as some of the other restaurants on Adams Street were using for their patrons. So the request has been that the existing daytime loading zone parking on Abbey Park be turned at nighttime to a valet parking to accommodate patrons using these businesses during the dinner hours. So basically, currently there is an existing loading zone. It's used and enforced for all businesses in this area, like the Abbey Park says that, and my understanding is that is done by a third party valet parking service, and it is free for all patrons. So the good thing is that not only folks from the Abbey Park, even though it will be run by that business, everyone that would want to use that service could use free of charge. They have secured, I believe, parking from this lot to be used for those services. So I am not sure if any of you had any questions, but they did come in and they had initially requested that when that I believe a few months ago, in the beginning of this year, this had been raised to our commission. So with that being said, not sure if anybody had any questions or comments or addition to this request.
Did they give a flow plan, like you park coming up Franklin, drop your car, and then they return them where? On Franklin again, the same direction, or on Adams Street, double parked?
But the return of the vehicle?
Yeah.
They only return, they cannot illegally park and wait for the patron to come in. You drop it off and your car is returned back to the same spot.
If they comply with that, I don't see any problems with it.
But really, just to understand, so that's the loaded zone during the day, and it's the same exact space as the valet at night? And are we sure none of these businesses get deliveries at night? Because I feel like some of them sometimes do. Maybe not the restaurants, but I feel like there are other trucks that sometimes make deliveries at night.
I thought so too.
I wish I don't have the request in I wish somebody would I wish I had more information on that request actually, because I'm not exactly sure about the hours that the valet parking would be turned into valet. I think we need some confirmation on that.
Is there a camera in that area that we could look at the data to see when and who parks there? I mean, there must be a security camera around there in that area.
There's not a police one. I mean, there's could be private ones, but we don't have access to that short of a crime. So.
I will, it sounds like we need more information from the request, and then it sounds like we also need the other business to have the chance to speak up if they have any concerns about the use of that current space. I believe, Chief King, I have to double check on the current sign as to whether or not that valet parking is loading zone is currently restricted for day business hours. So even though it might be used for night, I think that the current sign is for during the day only. So I'll double check on all those items and then maybe we can revisit this at the next meeting. All right. We need to know the time, the current time frame.
I guess the time frame, and we
And the
agree all
voting
businesses
impact.
kind of support this, or is it just for certain businesses? And I guess Steve hit on it, just as long as that's being done the proper way. I could picture double parking occurring, which Steve mentioned. I just could see that playing out. It did in the past when there was a valet there.
Yeah.
On the side.
I will ask for more clarification. I think those are all very valid points, and then I'll ask them to attend our next meeting.
Just one quick question, Marina. This is just Abbey Park that's looking to do this? So they're utilizing the space. It's not any other restaurants that want to do this as well, correct?
It would be used for all other residents. Novara also would use that. I am not sure. I think Starbucks is closed at those hours.
Chinese restaurants there.
There are couple of other restaurants. I have not had. Again, I think it's fair for us to request who's the supporter of this request.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good questions. All right, so I'll ask for a list of all of this information for our next meeting. Next agenda item is there was a request to review there was a request for the Canton Ave truck exclusion. I was under the impression that we've already done a Canton Ave truck exclusion. I did find a memo that was done back in 2022, I believe. That Canton Ave truck exclusion, however, was from the section of, let me pull that up 1 second. I want to make sure I'm speaking about it correctly. I believe it was Brooke and Adams, okay?
Yeah, the map you gave us was Blue Hill all the way to Adam Street, the entire length of Canton Ave. It's the map you showed us last time.
I'm gonna share my screen. So this was a beta report that was completed for the DPW director at the time, Chase. It was back in 2022. It was from a truck exclusion on Center Street between Adams Street and Brook Road. It notes where existing truck restrictions are in the town of Milton. And here, although Center Street go all the way to Reedsdale, the request at the time of the study area was from Brook to Adams. And the report pretty much did not noted that the recommendation is that the study found that it did not warrant the requirements by Mass DOT for truck exclusion road. Although this was submitted with a lot of information and additional video and picture of the evaluated traffic area. Is there anybody from is there anybody from the public that is here to speak on this matter? Okay. We were under the impression that there was a request for us to continue the study further on Center Street. So with no additional requests on this matter, I'd say there's not much for us to do here. All right. So thank you all very much. Yes.
So I did have one other thing. I sent you an email earlier, Marina. I think we agreed the last time that the entire Canton Avenue is no trucks allowed above 2.5 tons. And there's some signage out there. I took a drive up and down, and I sent you an email with signage. I think signage needs to go because there's not one on the end going from Adams down Canton right by my house, and trucks go by there. I followed one today when I was looking at the signs. A huge dump truck not doing any work in Milton, just driving through. So can we just take that? I sent you, it may not be part of this meeting.
You did send me, I sent it to a support team. Either those signs are already in the queue, they're either being ordered or about to be installed, because I sent that request to the support team a while ago.
Okay, and then I had one other question. It's kind of a general traffic question. Is there some way we can communicate with Waze and some of these apps out there than just say this road has a certain requirement where you can't drive trucks on it, or it's a one-way street or anything? Is there? I've done a little research, and there's a couple apps that truck drivers use, Hammer app and Trucker Pathway, and one other one. And is there any way we can communicate that to these companies and just say, hey, can you get this updated based on current data? Because I mean, if they have, most of them have some sort of app. And I know Waze is not good with trucks, so most trucks just use it for traffic. They don't use it for that purpose. But does anybody know that? I don't know if it's a police thing or.
So that's the intent of MassDOT's, when you submit that truck exclusion, MassDOT works with those apps to ensure that those get updated as new restrictions come online.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, Steve, if you know that, or have a concern, or know that they aren't in that trucking app.
No, I don't know. No.
Okay. I just